Ladies and gentlemen, the precocious Jaden Daniels strikes again. Welcome back to the channel. And divisional round playoffs kicked off with the two number one seeds taking the field. And the Washington Commanders, they pulled the biggest upset of the round. So far, they defeated the number one seed, the Detroit Lions, at home, 45-31 in what was a high-scoring game, beautiful game. We also had a second game between the Chiefs, the other number one seed. They hosted the Houston Texans at home. We'll get to that game shortly, but we have to start here in Detroit, where this precocious rookie, Jaden Daniels, went on the road and he took down the number one seed, Detroit Lions. I'm telling you, it was a brilliant performance. And there's a lot of ways we could analyze this game, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it was all about this rookie. His ability to just control the tempo. I mean, both using his legs and his arms, even though he didn't have a lot of rush yards, but the threat of him running, I mean, it created so much apprehension for the Detroit Lions defensive line. They didn't know what to do when he tucked the ball in the belly of the running back, if he was going to pull it out or he was going to leave it there. So it kind of slowed them down. Not like they had a great pass rush anyway, but it was just a brilliant performance. They came out in the first half. They put up 31 points in the first half. I mean, 7 of those was a pick six. And we'll get to Jared Goff here in a second, but there's so much I could say about this rookie. It was just a brilliant performance. He had 299 yards passing. He had 2 rushing passing TDs. Brian Robinson, he had 2 rushing TDs there for them, as well as also, Montgomery, their other backup running back. He also had a touchdown for Washington. So in the end, they ran out quite comfortable winners in over Detroit in Detroit. And I must say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not really surprised, because those of you who know me know that I picked Washington to pull the upset on the road. And there's plenty of reasons why I did this, mainly because I looked at the matchup between the Bills and the Lions at home, where they went up against the only running quarterback which they faced all year, Josh Allen, and they surrendered 49 points. And I expected a similar performance here from Jaden. Detroit doesn't perform well against quarterbacks like that, and he actually put up 45, which is, right on par. On the other side of that, we had Jared Goff, who just really played a very poor game. He had 3 INTs. He also had a sack fumble, which was another turnover. So he had 4 turnovers. And this is part of the reason why I also picked Washington, because if you know Jared, he's had a history of every now and then having these stinkers in the playoff. And that's why people can't tell me that these guys are any top 10 quarterback. Jared Goff is not a top 10 quarterback. He benefits from being in a great system, great run game. So the play action that he faces is excellent. And also, the O-line that he plays behind is definitely one of the top 3 in football. But yesterday, you could have seen that the moment got too big for him. He was very apprehensive, very agitated in the pocket, threw some very poor picks. They also had another pick on a trick play by Jameson Williams, which, Ben Johnson, I mean, come on. You got too cute right there, but they've been doing it all year. And that is why I didn't like them in this game, because they haven't faced this kind of pressure in any home game all season. And this was the first time that they were really under pressure. I mean, being the number one seed, coming off a bye week, the expectations at home. So all of that played into the factors that I used to pick against them. And I must say that I'm not really surprised. Kudos to Washington. They'll now move on. They'll be on the road next week again in the NFC Championship. But it's been a long time since this franchise has done this. It's just crazy. I can't imagine the excitement in Washington. The fan base is really energized. And it's all down to this precocious rookie, Jaden Daniels. Brilliant performance. But credit to Dan Quinn and the whole staff, the whole team, they contributed. So it's not a one-man team. But, at the end of the day, this rookie, he deserves all the plaudits that he gets. Detroit, very sad end to their season as the number one seed after winning 15 games. They'll have to reassess. There seems to gonna be some organizational changes in the off season. They're gonna lose a couple of coaches and stuff. So we'll see where the Lions go in the off season. But there are questions about Jared Goff's leadership right now as a veteran. Turning the ball over in the 4 times in a playoff game is just inexcusable. So that was it for the first game. First game of the day, was the Chiefs hosting Houston Texans. It was just a clinical performance by the Chiefs, 23-14 in the end. They gave up that safety at the end. But they were in control of that game. Two great defensive teams, by the way. Two great defensive teams. Houston really gave it their all. They played well. CJ Stroud played well. But Mahomes, he just knows how to win, making enough plays. The Chiefs defense, they started off kind of rough in that game. But as the game wore on, they kind of clamped down. They had 8 sacks of CJ. They really, really beat him up. He really took a beating. And Mahomes had a brilliant, one of his all-time plays to Kelsey, getting tackled, falling down, and found Kelsey in the end zone while he was being tackled almost with his body parallel to the ground. So another highlight reel play there for Mr. Mahomes to put on his ever-growing list. So now the Chiefs, they made their 7th consecutive AFC Championship game, which is just ridiculous. Patrick Mahomes has never been out of this game. No other quarterback has done that to begin their career. And it's just another notch on his belt in this first ballot Hall of Fame career, and basically a GOAT career, because he's definitely on his way to being a GOAT. He's already a GOAT in my book, but in some people's book, he needs more accomplishment. I don't see it. So now the Chiefs, they will host the Buffalo next week. The Chiefs, another AFC Championship appearance for Mr. Mahomes and Mr. Reed. Very clinical performance. The Chiefs defense, the Chiefs just know how to win. They just know how to win. I mean, that game was close. It was 13-12 at the end of the third quarter, but Mahomes and company, they just know how to shut it down. They came up with that brilliant touchdown there at the end. A couple of calls there that people are complaining about pass interference, roughing the passer. There's one roughing the passer call on Mahomes that everybody's complaining about. But hey, folks, listen, it's the NFL cause even out. I'm not gonna complain. So the Chiefs move on, Washington move on, the Lions go home. Houston goes home. Houston now, they have some questions for next year as well. They have some high price free agents on their team. Let's see what they do next year, But their future looks bright. They have CJ Stroud, and they have a young coach, and they have a nice nucleus there in Houston. So I expect them to be right back in the thick of things next year. But thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Please like, subscribe, share, help us to grow the channel. And we'll talk to you in a few. Peace.